Alright, let's dive into the heart of jazz, the saxophone. This instrument, with its distinctive sound, has played a crucial role in the evolution of jazz. When you think of jazz, chances are the image of a saxophonist lost in their music, pouring out soulful sounds comes to mind. It's a symbol of this genre. But do we know how it got there? Let's explore. The saxophone was invented in the mid-19th century by a Belgian musician named Adolphe Sax. Though initially used in military bands and classical music, it wasn't long before it found its way into the vibrant world of jazz. And boy, are we thankful for that. Around the turn of the 20th century, jazz was born in the bustling city of New Orleans. It was a melting pot of different musical styles, from blues and ragtime to African folk music. The saxophone, with its ability to mimic the human voice and express a wide range of emotions, soon became a staple in these early jazz bands. Fast forward to the 1920s and 30s, a period known as the Jazz Age, and the saxophone was front and center. This era saw the rise of big band music, and the saxophone's powerful sound made it perfect for these large ensembles. It was also during this time that the saxophone began to evolve, with musicians developing new techniques and styles of playing that pushed the boundaries of what the instrument could do. Then we move into the 1940s and 50s, where the saxophone truly became synonymous with jazz. This was the era of bebop and hard bop, styles of jazz that emphasize complex harmonies and fast tempos. The saxophone, with its agility and expressive capabilities, was perfect for these styles. Musicians like Charlie Parker and John Coltrane pushed the instrument to its limits, creating music that was innovative, challenging, and deeply emotional. Fast forward to today, and the saxophone continues to be a vital part of jazz. It's used in a variety of subgenres, from smooth jazz to avant-garde, and was then embraced by a new generation of musicians who continue to explore its possibilities. So there you have it, a whirlwind tour of the saxophone's journey through jazz. From its early days in New Orleans to its modern usage in diverse jazz subgenres, the saxophone has proven to be a versatile and expressive instrument that has left an indelible mark on this music we love.
It's truly amazing to see how this instrument has evolved and how it continues to shape the sound of jazz.
Now, let's move on to the next chapter of our journey. Now that we've traveled through time understanding the saxophone's role in jazz, let's get our hands metaphorically dirty. It's time to learn about the basic techniques of playing this soulful instrument. And don't worry, we'll break it down into three main components: embouchure, fingering, and breath control. First off, embouchure. Fancy word, right? Simply put, embouchure is the way you position and use your lips, cheeks, and jaw to play a wind instrument. For saxophonists, getting the right embouchure is crucial to producing a good tone. You'll want to form a firm but relaxed O shape with your lips. Place them over your teeth, and then rest the reed on your lower lip. It's a bit like whistling backwards, if you think about it. Next up is fingering. This refers to the placement and movement of your fingers on the saxophone's keys. Now, the saxophone has quite a few keys, but don't fret. It's all about practice and muscle memory. Each key corresponds to a different note, and by pressing them in various combinations, you can play a full range of melodies. Remember, the key, no pun intended, is to keep your fingers relaxed and close to the instrument. And lastly, let's talk about breath control. Playing the saxophone is a bit like doing yoga. It's all about the breath. Your breath powers the sound, and controlling it allows you to play long, smooth phrases or short staccato notes. The trick is to breathe from your diaphragm, not your chest, and to keep a steady stream of air flowing through the instrument. And there you have it, the basics of playing the saxophone. Remember, learning an instrument is a journey, not a sprint. So take your time, practice regularly, and most importantly, have fun with it. After all, playing music is all about expressing yourself and enjoying the process.
Oh, it's always exciting to start a new instrument, isn't it?
Now, let's move on to our next topic, the different styles and sounds of the saxophone in jazz. All right, folks, having gone over the history of the saxophone in jazz and the basic techniques of playing it, let's now delve into the different styles and sounds that can be achieved with this versatile instrument, particularly within the vibrant realm of jazz. One of the most beautiful aspects of the saxophone is this versatility. Depending on how it's played, the saxophone can produce sounds ranging from smooth and mellow to bright and piercing. This makes it perfect for expressing a wide range of emotions and playing in various jazz subgenres. Let's start with the cool, relaxed style, often found in West Coast. Here, the saxophone often has a smooth, mellow sound with long, flowing phrases. Think of Paul Desmond's work with the Dave Brubeck Quartet, where his alto saxophone weaves a tapestry of cool, intricate melodies. Then we've got the fiery, passionate style of hard bop. Here, the saxophone often has a more aggressive sound, with complex, fast-paced lines and a lot of emphasis on expression and improvisation. Picture John Coltrane's Sheets of Sound or Sonny Rollins' thematic improvisations, where their tenor saxophones roar with intensity and complexity. Don't forget the funky, soulful style of soul jazz. Here, the saxophone often has a gritty, raw sound with a strong emphasis on rhythm and blues influences. Picture Cannonball Adderley's or Lou Donaldson's work, where their saxophones sing with soulful grooves and bluesy licks. And then there's the avant-garde style of free jazz, where the saxophone can make all sorts of unusual sounds from overblown notes to multiphonics. Picture Ornette Coleman's or Albert Ayler's performances, where their saxophones shriek, wail, and everything in between. In the world of jazz, the saxophone is not just an instrument. It's a voice. It can whisper. It can shout. It can laugh. It can cry. It can do whatever it needs to convey the feeling of the music. And that, my friends, is the magic of jazz saxophone. Up next, we'll delve into the works of influential jazz saxophonists to further understand their impact on this genre. So don't go anywhere. Now that we've explored the different styles and sounds of jazz saxophone, let's turn our attention to two titans of the genre, Charlie Parker and John Coltrane. Their contributions to jazz are immense, and have each left an indelible mark on the way the saxophone is played. Charlie Parker, also known as Bird, was one of the key figures of the bebop era. His innovative approach to melody, rhythm, and harmony was revolutionary. Bird's playing was characterized by fast tempos, complex chord progressions, and intricate melodies. He had an uncanny ability to create beautiful, flowing lines that were both rhythmically and harmonically advanced. Listen to his recordings, like Coco or Yardbird Suite, and you'll hear how he weaves complex musical ideas with an ease that still astounds musicians today. His improvisations were like intricate tapestries of sound, full of unexpected twists and turns. Truly, Bird was a master of his craft. Then we have John Coltrane, often referred to simply as Train. Coltrane took the language that Charlie Parker developed and pushed it even further. He was a relentless innovator, constantly pushing the boundaries of what was possible on the saxophone. His approach to improvisation was unique. He developed a technique known as sheets of sound, where he would play a barrage of notes, creating a dense cascading sound that was both overwhelming and captivating. His works, like Giant Steps and A Love Supreme, are considered milestones in the jazz repertoire. Coltrane's sound was powerful and spiritual, often seemed to reach for something beyond the music itself. It's no wonder he's inspired generations of musicians after him. Both Parker and Coltrane had a profound influence on jazz and the saxophone. They expanded the technical and expressive possibilities of the instrument, and their innovative approaches to improvisation continue to inspire jazz musicians today. Now, with these two giants as our inspiration, let's move on to our final topic: exploring improvisation and soloing techniques unique to jazz saxophone playing. Let's get ready to dive deep. All right, we've been on quite a journey so far, haven't we? And now we've reached an exciting part of our discussion: improvisation and soloing techniques unique to jazz saxophone playing. Improvisation, the art of creating music on the spot, is at the very heart of jazz. It's what gives this genre its spontaneity and excitement. When you're improvising on the saxophone, you're not just playing notes, you're telling a story, expressing your feelings in the moment. There are a few core techniques that jazz saxophonists often use when improvising. The first is playing the changes, which means improvising melodies that fit with the underlying chord progressions. This is a technique that was heavily used by Charlie Parker and is a fundamental part of the bebop style. It requires a good understanding of music theory, but can lead to some truly beautiful and sophisticated solos. Another technique is the use of modes or scales. John Coltrane, for instance, was known for his exploration of modal playing, as heard in his groundbreaking piece, Giant Steps. This involves improvising using specific scales or modes that match each chord, creating a unique sound and mood. Then there's the use of motifs, small musical ideas that could be developed and varied throughout a solo. This technique can help give your solos a sense of unity and direction. Think of Sonny Rollins and his legendary ability to build entire solos around simple musical ideas, turning them into captivating musical narratives. And of course, there's the use of space and dynamics. Remember, it's not just about the notes you play, but also the ones you don't play. Leaving space in your solos allows the music to breathe and can create a sense of anticipation. Dynamics, the variation in volume, can add emotion and intensity to your playing. Improvising on the saxophone?
It's like having a conversation, but with music.
It's about listening, responding, expressing yourself, telling a story. And the better you understand these techniques, the more fluent and expressive your musical language can become. That wraps up our exploration of the saxophone's role in jazz. From its history and basic playing techniques to the different styles and the art of improvisation, we've covered quite a lot of ground. So, grab the saxophone, start practicing, and most importantly, enjoy the journey.